Hey folks, so now Robin's done all the hard work, we can glue up our upper carriage, and we're going to start with the arm posts because we're going to wedge those. These are the ones that I guess can take a bit of flack, so they want to be in nice and strong. So we're going to wedge those just the same way that we've done the legs. So we need to mark the kerf.
Yep.
And saw a slot.
Yep.
And then we'll put some glue in, whack and a wedge.
Yes.
Okay, what should I...
Just tilt it backwards.
Great.
And then they can see what we're doing. So, as with the legs, I'm thinking about the grain direction. So, I'm marking this perpendicular to the grain. That's one. Okay, that's those marked.
Great.
So the next thing I do is I just draw a little line to follow with my saw. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the depth of the tenon. The tenon comes to here, so I'll go to there. And then I will just cut along that line so we've got somewhere to put our wedge. So here's the length of my tenon. I'm going 2/3 to 3/4 of the way. Just make sure you don't go past the tenon or you'll see a split in your chair. A nice little tip is to take a file, the corner of a file, and just give it a little rub, and then if your kerf closes up on you as you tap into the chair, you've still got somewhere you can feed your wedge into. Okay, so I'm going to pop some wood glue in this hole, and I'm going to use a swizzle stick to spread it round. Okay, so we'll take our arm, make sure our kerf is aligned in the same direction as the ones in the legs. Put it in the hole. I'm just going to give it a little tap. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over. If I could get you to hold that a second, please, Bob.
Where should I hold
So I
it
can
like
hit that, yeah. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on one side of the wedge. That helps things stop getting loose in the future. Okay. I'm just going to ease it in a little bit. And now it's in, I'm going to have this leg as straight up as I can. Now I'm just going to tap my wedge in. Listen for a change in the pitch. There we go, you hear different noise now. That wedge is
very noisy.
In.
Great, so I guess we just do the next one.
Yeah, clean the glue up while it's still wet as well.
Okay, you get the next one glued in and
Yeah.
I'll get a cloth.
Yeah.
Great, so those are wedged in. Obviously we've left the wedge tenons standing proud. We can saw those off later and tidy them up. Just the same way as we've done these, but you probably don't need to fuss quite so much about the finish. Next job is to get the, do you call that the back deck or the deck sorted?
Spindle deck.
Spindle deck, that's the one, yeah. So the crest posts and the 3 Lutima flips. Well, have we numbered which one goes in which?
Yep.
Great, so we can, are we going to clamp these in?
I think so.
And we're just going to peg all of these from the back. So you've done the video making the pegs.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that these are in fully before you peg them.
Yeah. And make sure you remember to put glue on before you put clamp on.
Great. Okay, so let's glue up and then we'll clamp it down and then we're good to go. We'll make sure that we put these in order.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So how come you glue the mortise rather than the tenon?
Because if you glue the tenon and then shove it in the hole, any extra, as you get to here, it all bulges out.
Right.
Just a bit tidier.
Great. Okay. So we're going to put the arms on as well when we clamp it down, or are we just using the crest to clamp it?
We could put the arms on too, couldn't we? That is how it holds itself together. Well, swap it.
Great.
Pop that crest on. Now let's get a clamp
In place. All right, is that going in?
Nearly. On this outside. Another tap on this outside. Brilliant.
Great. So we just need to mark where we're going to drill the holes. Now it's all clamped in. We can drill it.
Yep. So to mark for the where I'm putting these pegs, just going to draw a straight line down so I know where the middle of each component is. And then I'm going to measure halfway through the thickness of the seat and do my horizontal line. So my next job is to drill where we've marked in the back of the seat and well into the spindles. My drill bit is just poking out my drill just over 5 centimetres, so I know that's going to go through the seat, through the tenon and back into the seat again, so we're going to get a nice tight grip.
Great, so you're obviously aiming to go through the centre of the tenon, which isn't necessarily going to be 90 degrees to the plank, so it's worth aiming for that.
Yeah.
And then we've got 5mm pegs going into 5.5mm holes.
That's right.
Because we're using square pegs, obviously the diagonal's slightly bigger. It would just mean they go in slightly easier. And I suppose a bit of glue on the peg will help lubricate it going in.
Yeah. There we go.
Great.
Okay.
So we're doing them sharp edges up and down.
Yeah.
Great.
See that? If you don't have a glamorous assistant like me, you could always push the legs up to a wall and the chair won't wander off. Hear the noise change again?
Great, so that's in. Great, so we've got those pegged in. Yep. We're going to mark where we can saw some of this off, and then we need to take the crest off, saw a kerf for our wedges.
Yep.
And then we'll pop it all back together again, wedge the arm, and then peg the crest on.
Yeah.
And then we're done.
We are. One thing I'd say, don't even need to mark that, we just need to cut it off.
Cut what off? Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to cut it off with 1/4 inch proud.
Yeah.
So we've got something to wedge into.
Great.
Go.
Okay, let's get this all off then. So, if you hold it.
Come here. So I'm marking perpendicular to the grain again. And that's where our wedge will go.
Great.
I would saw that down to 2/3 of the way.
Okay, not all the way down to the bead.
No.
No. Great. Okay, let's do that.
Please be careful of your fingers at this point.
Great.
Here we go.
Okay. So, glue these...
In the hole, glue into these
glue
holes.
the tenons or the holes?
The holes. Blob in the hole. Once round. Sorted.
Okay, you do that one. So, are we going to glue this? That doesn't need to be glued on. We'll just glue the...
Glue
yeah,
the crest.
Great. Okay. And then glue on the wedge.
One side of the wedge.
Great.
Go.
Well done, you. Great. So the glue will need a while to set before we can trim that off, but we can fit the crest now. So we need to put glue in the holes.
Yep.
And then we should also mark where we're going to drill for the pegs. So if we mark that first,
Yep.
glue it on, bang it down, bash in pegs.
Yep.
Sweet.
We're going to just sit it on top of there to mark it out.
Yes. Great.
So
Little bang. Doesn't really need it, does it?
No, not for peg, measuring for pegs.
Okay, so you're just going to mark them by eye from the front.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to mark the depths. Oh, sorry, how far in I'm drilling these holes, and they're going to go up in increments, and it's just pleasing on the eye. I'll explain it as we go. So we've decided we're going to come 1/2 inch up from the bottom for the first hole. Which is there. Same on the other side. Then we're going to come 3/4 up for the next one. Now, here's a good tip. If I go up another 1/4 inch now to do that, that's going to look like a V. So instead of going up another 1/4, I'm just going to go up 1/8 and it will look more like a sweep. So I'm going to do this one at 7/8. There we go. That's the crest marked. We'll get some glue in those holes. Make sure you work quite quickly once you've got your glue in.
Bit of a tap. Is that in?
Yeah.
I think that's as far as it's going to go.
Yep.
We definitely struggled a bit getting that one in, so it is worth pointing out, it is worth making sure that the tenons do slip in quite smoothly. And actually, what can be a problem is the glue makes the tenons expand, because obviously it's got water in, so you may decide to not even bother gluing and just pegging. Anyway, that's now on. And we're good to go. We're just going to peg from the front.
From the front and not all the way through.
Not all the way through.
Hence
Great.
A little depth marker.
Oh, perfect.
3/4 of the depth of the crest.
Okay.
one last,
Perfect.
One last little job. Pop these in. Thank you. We've made a chair. Well done us.
Great, boom, high five. Yeah, perfect. So chair is now done. Essentially all that needs to happen is pegs and wedges trimmed once it's dry. Maybe a bit of tidying up, rubbing out pencil marks, cleaning grubby handprints off stuff.
Yeah. Lemon juice is your friend there, or any sort of mild acid. I'd avoid brown pop, won't help. Yeah, clean it up and then it's up to you whether you paint it, oil it. Personally, I would just use it. Nothing makes a chair look nicer than getting in and out of it for a lot of years.
Perfect. Cool. Well, thanks for coming down and helping us, Robin.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the chair making.
Cheers.